from the nation's capital, Monrovia. Good evening and welcome to King's Newsroom, a 45 minutes news presentation about Liberia, Africa, and the rest of the world. Today is Thursday, November 13, 2025, and I am Newton Tupa presenting stories for following this evening. Finance and Development Planning Minister Augustine Gaffron expresses confidence in government's fiscal trajectory and reform agenda, emphasizes that the country is firmly on course towards securing a second Millennium Challenge Cooperation Compact. Economic Community of West African States Commission reaffirms its commitment to deepening regional integration and connectivity through joint monitoring mission for the construction of the Kavala River Bridge. ECOWAS Director for Transport Chris Appiah says the bridge will reduce travel time, facilitate cross-border trade, and improve access to essential services. Justice Minister Councillor Oswald Tueda shows government's unwavering commitment to prosecute both past and present officials implicated in corruption. Away from Liberia, the Nigerian government has announced it is cancelling a controversial policy that mandated the use of indigenous languages for teaching in the earliest years of schooling instead of English. These plus the news bulletin, our international developments, are all packaged. We are taking a very short break to be right back. At this juncture, we cross over to Sam Andrews with the news bulletin.
Finance and Development Planning Minister Augustine Gaffron has expressed confidence in the government's fiscal policy and reform agenda, emphasizing Liberia is firmly on course towards securing a second Millennium Challenge Compact. Speaking on state radio, Minister Gaffron provided updates on the fiscal 2026 budget, debt management, and ongoing development initiative designed to strengthen governance, empower youth, and enhance service delivery. Minister Gaffron reaffirmed Liberia's standing with the Millennium Challenge Corporation, noting that the country's recent scorecard are encouraging signs of progress. He said the government's commitment to reform and transparency continued to drive Liberia's engagement with the MCC and other international partners. Justice Minister Oswald Tueda has reaffirmed the government's commitment to prosecuting both past and present officials implicated in corruption, promising that the public will see results before 2026. Minister Tueda acknowledged public frustration over the slow pace of corruption prosecution, but maintained justice rush is justice risk. He explained that the Ministry of Justice is working to ensure that all corruption cases meet international prosecutorial standards before going to court. The minister noted that corruption cases are inherently complex, requiring forensic accounting, documentary evidence, witness protection, and interagency coordination. He cited ongoing cooperation with the Liberia Anti-Corruption Commission, the Public Procurement and Concession Commission, the Financial Intelligence Agency, and the Assets Recovery Task Force, among others. The Economic Community of West African States Commission has reaffirmed its commitment to deepening regional integration and connectivity through a joint monitoring mission for the construction of Kavala River Bridge, a key cross-border infrastructure linking Ivory Coast and Liberia. The mission was conducted from the 5th to the 7th of November as part of ECOWAS's ongoing efforts to promote seamless movement, trade facilitation, and economic cooperation across the sub-region. The 288-meter bridge currently under construction represents a vital link between the two Mana River Union countries, enhancing access, trade, and social exchange between communities on both sides of the border. The project is part of the Road Development and Transport Facilitation Program of the Mana River Union, which is being implemented with strategic priorities of ECOWAS Vision 2050. President Joseph Boakai has reaffirmed the government's commitment to improving public transportation and delivering results for the Liberian people, as he dedicated a new fleet of buses brought into the country by the National Transit Authority. Speaking at the dedication ceremony on Japan Freeway, President Boakai described the event as a symbol of progress and renewal, noting that the initiative reflects his government's determination to serve citizens through practical and people-centered development. He commended the management of the National Transit Authority, the Ministry of Transport, and all partners who contributed to the project, including development financiers and local stakeholders. The president emphasized that his leadership is grounded in service and accountability, underscoring his government is focused on delivering real results rather than rhetoric. Liberia's latest performance on the Millennium Challenge Corporation scorecard has sparked national debate, showing a significant drop in key areas of governance, economic management, and human development. The MCC scorecard, released annually by the U.S. Millennium Challenge Corporation, measures how countries manage governance, economic freedom, and investment in people as benchmarks that determine eligibility for hundreds of millions of United States development funding. Under the CDC administration, Liberia performed relatively well in 2023, passing 14 out of 20 indicators, a 70% success rate. But since Unity Party came to power, the numbers have dropped to 55% in 2024 and a projected 54% in 2025. The Moravia City Court has postponed its ruling in a criminal case involving allegations of forgery, deceptive writing, and criminal conspiracy against two foreign nationals in their company, Autospare Garage in Moravia. The dispute began when businessman Mohammed Hiyak filed a private complaint accusing Mustafa Yassini, Kadu Ishmael, and their company of forging documents and conspiring to unlawfully seize control of the business property and finance. According to Hayak's filing, the defendants allegedly falsified ownership and financial records, including altering contracts, fake receipts, and tampering with business documents submitted to banks and authorities. Mines and Energy Minister Designate Mantonoke Tengbe has pledged to drive the ministry with efficiency, transparency, and inclusive growth in Liberia's extractive and energy sector, emphasizing job creation, community empowerment, and responsible foreign investment as key priorities under his leadership. Speaking during his confirmation hearing before the Senate, Minister Designate Tengbe presented a comprehensive vision anchored on three strategic pillars: efficiency, transparency, and inclusive growth, aimed at transforming the ministry into a catalyst for national development. He outlined his administration will focus on maximizing revenue from Liberia's rich mineral deposits, which include gold, diamond, and iron ore. And Maryland County Representative Anthony Williams has expressed deep disappointment with the manner in which the House of Representatives has handled his communication calling for salary increment for central administration and political staff working at the legislature. Speaking with reporters at his Capitol building office Thursday, Representative Williams criticized what he described as lack of seriousness and unresponsiveness among his colleagues in addressing issues affecting the welfare of staffs who, according to him, keep legislative machinery running daily.
Sam Andrews there with the news bulletin. What if you just joined us on Monday listening to King's Newsburn 45 minutes news presentation about Liberia, Africa, and the rest of the world. Today is Thursday, November 13, 2025, and I'm Newton Tokwa presenting stories we're following this evening. Finance and Development Planning Minister Augustine Gaffon expresses confidence in government's fiscal trajectory and reform agenda, emphasizing that the country is firmly on course towards securing a second Millennium Challenge Corporation compared. Economic Community of West African States Commission reaffirms its commitment to deepen regional integration and connectivity through joint monitoring mission for the construction of the Kavala River Bridge. ECOWAS Director for Transport Chris Appiah says the bridge will reduce travel time, facilitate cross-border trade, and improve access to essential services. Justice Minister Councillor Oswald assures government's unwavering commitment to prosecute both past and present officials implicated in corruption. Away from Liberia, the Nigerian government has announced it is cancelling a controversial policy that mandated the use of indigenous languages for teaching in the earliest years of schooling instead of English. We are taking another short break. When we come back, we'll bring you the forces of the On this one, now President Joseph Walker has reaffirmed his administration's commitment to improving public transportation and delivering tangible results for the Liberian people, as an officially dedicated a new fleet of buses brought in the country by the National Transit Authority. Speaking at the dedicatory ceremony on the Japan Freeway, President Walker described the event as a symbol of progress and national renewal, noting that the initiative thus reflects the government's determination to serve citizens through practical and people-centered development.
I want to thank you all for being here. This is not a keynote address. It's a matter of assuring the Liberian people that this is the Liberian people time. It's a time for people to take ownership of our country, and enjoy the benefit of our country, and to celebrate the beginning of a time that is dedicated to serving our people. I want to thank the NTA, with the help of the Minister, Transport, ABK, and all of you. Today is a fulfillment of every time we say something is happening, they say we're not happy. Because we didn't come here to lie to the people. We have told you that we didn't come here to be president. We came here to change leadership of this country, supporting leadership that will serve the people. You can go to the southeast, and it's going to be even better. You can go to Lofa, even during the rainy season, it's not going to go back. I don't care what you say, it's going to just get better. The buses that you see, unlike those that you know before, are not going to be crosses that the government will go and take for private use. It's not going to happen. If the government does that, they will have to pay. There are buses for use for the people. We want to make that clear. Yesterday we had a meeting with the entity to make sure that maintenance is put in place, make sure that the collection system is put in place, to make sure that stopping places. In other countries you go, they call it the 2 o'clock bus. It will be there 2 o'clock. Because if you have somewhere to go, we can time it with the bus. We hope that we get to that the bus will be there. And the buses have to go out of town. They must have a system, Banga or somewhere where they will be maintained. As you say, the bus break down, got to bring it down. We discussed all of that yesterday. And also, we discussed the issue of payment. Sometimes money can be tempting, but we launched the digital program.
President Walker emphasized that his leadership is grounded in service and accountability, underscoring that Liberia under his administration is focused on delivering real results rather than rhetoric. President Walker expressed his appreciation to Liberia's youth, particularly commercial motorcyclists, acknowledging their contribution to the country's transport system while urging them to take advantage of new safer opportunities, and added that reducing motorcycle-related accidents and promoting safer alternatives through expanded public transport remain a key part of the government's social and economic agenda. We'll bring you that asset in our subsequent newscast. Justice Minister Councillor Oswald Tue has reaffirmed the government's unwavering commitment to prosecute both past and present officials implicated in corruption, promising that the public will see a huge result before 2026. Appearing on Class Reloaded, a popular talk show, Minister Tue acknowledged mounting public frustration over the slow pace of corruption prosecutions, but maintained that justice rush is justice raced. He maintained that the Ministry of Justice is working meticulously to ensure that all corruption cases meet international prosecutorial standards before reaching court. The minister noted that corruption cases are inherently complex, requiring forensic accountability, documentary evidence, witness protection, and interagency coordination.
The Ministry of Justice will know that corruption is the abuse of entrusted power for private gain. Corruption destroys public trust, it harms our economy, it widens inequality, and it weakens the rule of law. And as Minister of Justice, it is my duty to protect the public interest, pursue accountability, and ensure that justice is done fairly and transparently. We have institutions in Liberia dedicated towards fighting corruption. You have the PPCC, the LACC, the FIA, Bureau of Concession, Asset Recovery Tax Force. Now we have the Witness Protection Unit and others. We work closely with all the bodies, coordinating, investigating, and trying to see how we can coordinate in such a way that we can have successful prosecution of anybody who we believe from the evidence they are liable. So we are strengthening this interagency cooperation and our capacity to investigate. We know we are lacking many things in our country, but as most of us are aware, we try to do prosecution in such a way that it meets international standard, that it pass muster. Prosecution is not just an event, a process. If you don't do it well, you don't do it right, your whole case could be thrown out, people could go free just because you were too hasty, you were too fast. So we hear the noise and things, but we take our time. You know, in our country, we're trying to change a lot of things around. People who are live abroad know sometimes how long investigation takes, like yes, months before people are indicted, before are brought to trial. Our approach is we usually go through a very rigorous criminal and financial investigation to establish probable cause. No credible prosecution can skip that table. Just lead you to do more investigation. So when you get all the reports, the audit report by the GAC, those reports are taken, they are analyzed to establish and confirm any allegation of fraud, misappropriation, and theft. To do the investigation, you need accountants. When accountants establish what happened, the lawyers come in to see how they can put a criminal charge on what happened. Sometimes all the reports are compliance report. We show no criminality, it can be negligence. We have to look at it and be very careful. So we're moving, and pretty soon the public will see the work we are doing. Some of the charges we pursue against food and economic sabotage, misapplication, entrusted property, theft. These are crimes against the state in which much needed resources of the government are taken by few individuals, resources that we use to better the life of our people, to build roads, schools, hospitals, clinics. Few people take these resources and things for their own personal use, which is wrong.
As a witness protection program, allowing critical witnesses to be relocated and safeguarded from intimidation or retaliation. He described the initiative as a milestone achievement made possible through the support of President Joseph Boakai. While his remarks were measured and Cautiously optimistic towards statement come amid growing public skepticism about the government's ability and political will to hold senior officials accountable.
I'm going to tell you that investigations are very complex. They're not easy as they look. They require forensic accounting, document tracing, witnesses, witness protection, and careful legal preparation to survive court scrutiny and appeals. So these are some of the reasons why investigations take time and why they are necessary. The defendants have rights. We have to ensure due process. See, the onus is on the government, the prosecutor, the prosecuting arm of government. In our jurisprudence, the defendant is innocent until proven guilty. You have to prove the individual you charging guilty. The individual can stand and say nothing. Say, go me everything, show it. So you have to do good work, and that's what we try to do. I understand completely the public's impatience and the desire for swift action. But God, the old aggressive and then which you all know, hurry, boss traffic. We try to avoid that because justice rush is justice risk. Criminals and financial pros must be thorough because if you do it thoroughly, what? If you show your hands not too soon, the evidence can be destroyed. So perpetrators are powerful. They got money, resources. They can obstruct investigation. They can destroy records. So it demands patience and careful tactics. So we try our approaches to protect the integrity of the cases. So conviction and lasting accountability can withstand legal challenge. So right now we have operationalized the witness protection program. Sometimes you can have a good case, but the evidence show you need people to come and testify. Some people for certain reasons shy away. Some people are intimidated by the perpetrators. They live in the community, they scare them, they don't want to come to court. So you can't find the witnesses. So we have the witness protection program, which we can take them away from the community, put them in safe places that nobody can touch them. So the legal channels are moving because when cases lack apparent evidence, when investigative work is not diligent enough, it's difficult to move forward. Sometimes it looks long, but I'm going to tell you, we're not just sitting our hunches around here. We are working quietly. Sometimes in investigative work and things, you can't let your left hand know what your right hand doing. People can be compromised. That's what we are doing. On some specific ongoing matters, we have matters before the courts, but we have to allow the judiciary to independently handle this matter. And we are sure you are employing all lawful tactics, cover investigation, forensic financial work, and all to secure lasting conviction.
He's Justice Minister Oswald Tuer. They're speaking. Liberia's latest performance on Medellin Challenge Corporation scorecard has sparked national debate, showing a significant drop in key areas of governance, economic management, and human development. The MCC scorecard, released annually by the U.S. Millennium Challenge Corporation, measures how countries manage governance, economic freedom, and investment in people, benchmarks that determine eligibility for hundreds of millions in U.S. development funding. Under the CDC administration, Liberia performed relatively well in 2023, passing 14 out of 20 indicators, a 70% success rate. But since the Unity Party came to power, the numbers have dropped from 55% in 2024 and a projected 54% in 2025. Benjamin Coy has a report.
In a revealing assessment, Liberia's governing performance on the 2023-2025 Millennium Challenge Corporation's scorecard has sparked intense debate. The finding shows a troubling decline in key national indicators, raising questions about the country's reform trajectory under President Joseph Boakai Unity Party administrations. The MCC scorecard produced annually by the U.S. Millennium Challenge Corporation evaluates countries on governance, economic freedom, and investment in people category that determined eligibility for hundreds of millions in U.S. development aids. Under the former CDC government, Liberia 2022 scorecard showed strong performance, passing 14 out of 20 indicators, a 70% success rate. But as the Unity Party took office, projections tell a different story. The data show a decline to 55% in 2024 and a further drop to 54% in 2025, a shift different from the momentum built in previous years. A close look at the data highlight where the slide is more notably. Under the CDC, in fiscal year 2023, Liberia performed well across multiple categories. Rule of law 54%, freedom of information 88%, trade policy 74%, access to credit 72%, health expenditures 64%, land right 77%, and gender in economics 77%. But projection for 2026 on the Unity Party reveal widespread worsening with failure in areas critical to governance and growth. Rule of law 44% failure, governing effectiveness 33% failure, trade policy 23% failure, access to credit 31% failure, child health 36% failure, natural resources protection 20% failure. Still, there is one area of relative consistency control of corruption. Liberia maintains a passing mark in this indicator shows only minor fluctuation over the years. Fiscal year 2018, 61%, past fiscal year 2023, 54%, while fiscal year 2026 projection 56%, maintaining 2% over the previous year. Maintaining the corruption indicator is important, but it is not enough if government rule of law and trade policies continue to decline. Liberia eligibility for further MCC funding could be at serious risks, political and economic implications. The Unity Party government now faces growing inquiry. Supporters argue that the administration inherited deep institutional challenge while critics say leadership has failed to deliver on reform promises. As Liberia approaches the next NCC evaluations cycle, the message is clear. Sustaining governance reforms, stronger economic policies, and improved human capital investment will be key to restoring confidence both home and abroad. For K News, I'm Benjamin K. Johnson.
Benjamin Koy Johnson of our staff there ending that report. Well, if you just joined us, with the time half past the hour, the reminder, you're listening to King's Newsman, 45 minutes news presentation about Liberia, Africa, and the rest of the world. Stories will follow in this evening. Finance and Development Planning Minister Augustine Gaffon expresses confidence in government's fiscal trajectory and reform agenda, emphasizing the need for the country to firmly get on course toward securing a second Malidian Challenge Corporation compared. Economic Community of West African States Commission reaffirms its commitment to deepening regional integration and connectivity through a joint monitoring mission for the construction of the Kabbalah River Bridge. ECOWAS Director for Transport Chris Appiah says the bridge will reduce travel time, facilitate cross-border trade, and improve access to essential services. Justice Minister Councillor Oswald Ware shows government's unwavering commitment to prosecute both past and present officials implicated in corruption. Away from Liberia, the Nigerian government has announced it is cancelling a controversial policy that mandated the use of indigenous languages for teaching in the earliest years of schooling instead of English. We take another short break and we'll come back. We'll continue with more voices on the program. Thanks for rejoining. The Finance and Development Planning Minister Augustine Gaffon has expressed confidence in the government's fiscal trajectory and reform agenda, emphasizing that the country is firmly on course towards securing a second Malidian Challenge Corporation compared. Speaking on the ELBC Support Morning Show, Minister Gaffon provided key updates on the fiscal year 2026 draft national budget, debt management, and ongoing development initiatives designed to strengthen governance, empower youth, and enhance service delivery nationwide. Minister Gaffon reaffirmed Liberia's positive standing with the Malidian Challenge Corporation, noting that the country's recent scorecard results are an encouraging sign of progress. He Thus, he added that the government's commitment to reform and transparency continues to drive Liberia's engagement with the MCC and other international partners.
Thank you. We received the scorecard. The MCC team sent me a confidential copy of the scorecard last week, and we are happy that we've made the pass. The minimum you need to pass is half of the scorecards.
Okay.
So before the scorecards, the indicators, half of the indicators, right? The indicators were 20. Now the indicators have been increased to 22. So you need to pass a minimum of 11.
Okay.
To pass, but there are one or two hard indicators. What they call control of corruption. Now they call it control of corruption and accountability.
Okay.
It's a hard indicator. It means that you can pass 21 of the indicators. If you don't pass this, you fail. It is what we call, a necessary condition for passing. Now they've increased the hard indicators to 2. Before it was no control of corruption. They've put in personal freedom. Two indicators are hard, meaning you can pass every other thing. If you fail those 2 indicators, meaning if you pass 20 indicators and fail these 2, you fail. So you must pass these.
He's Minister of Finance and Development Planning, Augustine Gaffron, they're speaking. The Assistant Minister for Prevention Services at the Ministry of Health, Dr. Cecilia Lillian Jabba, has officially launched the Non-Communicable Diseases and Injuries Program at the CB Doma Hospital in Banga, Bong County. Dr. Lillian Jabba emphasized that the launch of the NDRP is in reaffirmation of the Ministry of Health commitment to fighting non-communicable diseases and injuries.
Our being Bong County here today is a commitment to all of us around here that we as a country made to the Afro region that we will introduce a strategy that is called 10 plus to seek the needs of our people, especially in the area of diabetes, heart disease, sickle cell, and all other non-communicable diseases that continue to plague our people, and some often call them the silent killers. We are also pleased to be here today to initiate this program, especially so at our first level hospitals in our counties. A lot of people have said it already, the burden that citizens face in all of the counties. Maria is not Liberia, but we have to travel from counties to just see medical care for these special occasions. We are also here for a special reason to launch this program and to also confirm our commitment and our promise that we made as to you, the Liberians, to make sure that no matter where we live, it deserves all the quality of care in need of life-saving measures and medication to improve your health care. We are not just talking about abstract numbers, but rather the daily struggle of some of our patients, especially those in the rural area. But today, we want to say that this is an opportunity, this is a chance to ensure that everybody has equitable access to healthcare, no matter where you are in that area. For example, of what we can achieve through collaboration. As we sit here today, we have our partners, WHO,
She is the Assistant Minister for Prevention Services at the Ministry of Health, Dr. Lillian Jabba. Yes, speaking. Maryland County District 2 Representative Anthony Williams has expressed deep disappointment with the manner in which the House of Representatives has handled his recent communication calling for salary increment for central administration and political staffers working at the legislature. Speaking with reporters at his Capitol Building office Thursday, Representative Williams criticized what he described as a lack of seriousness and responsiveness among his colleagues in addressing issues affecting the welfare of staffers who were calling to him keep the legislative machinery running daily.
I'm getting a little bit disappointed at the level of the national legislature, because of the manner form in which communications issues that brought us around the happiness of the people are being treated at time. When I entered this place, I was given a package by the chief clerk office. There were certain documents in that package that has to do with the remuneration of the workers here, the central administration, all the political staffers here. They gave me all the payrolls that they needed to take as a take-home salary. And then I decided to do an economic analysis of the market, forces what the person is taking home as a salary at the end of the month. And the government of Liberia, the PRT table, which is the personal income tax table, it is clear that the only way the government of Liberia will not take a tax from an individual, he or she must be able to earn $70,000 liberty per year annually. So if you earn $70,000 liberty per year, that's the only way government will not take income tax for you. Now, if you divide the $70,000 by the number of months, you will come around some level around some 5,000 plus. If you divide that money by the prevailing rate of the market, it means that the Liberian government is telling us you should be making around $30 US or $29 before they will not take tax from you. So if you end up making $50, $75, you are eligible to pay tax because the PRT table is clear. So when we look at the pay grade of the peoples here from our political staff, the central administration, even the plenary staff, that we call the secretarial staff, the salary was not encouraging. This is the first branch of government where the people work on a daily basis. So when I look at the salary, I thought it was not okay, and I proposed to the colleagues at the time that look, while it is true that we are workers, we here, but the first thing is that let us make sure that these staffers that come to work here, see how the place is clean, these people will be taking something home, and that will be able to commensurate with the challenges that are out there with the market forces. And I put it to the communication on the floor. To my utmost surprise, other colleagues give a cold shoulder, other colleagues did not support it, other colleagues were playing mortgage. And then we discussed it, it went into committee.
He's Meriden County District 2 Representative Anthony Williams. They are speaking. And away from Liberia, the Nigerian government has announced it is cancelling a controversial policy that mandated the use of indigenous languages for teaching in the earliest years of schooling instead of English. Education Minister Tonji Alusa said the program introduced just 3 years ago had failed to deliver and was being scrapped with immediate effect. Instead, English will be reinstated as the medium of instruction from pre-primary levels through to university. The now defunct program was launched by former Education Minister Adamu Adamu, who had argued that children learn more effectively in their mother tongue. Nigeria's education system is facing serious problems such as poor quality teaching, inadequate materials, low pay for teachers, and numerous strikes. Although 85% of children go to primary school, less than half complete their secondary education. Some 10 million children are out of school in Nigeria, more than in any other country, according to the UN. Announcing the reversal of the language policy in the capital Abuja, Dr. Alusad pointed to poor academic results from those areas which had adopted mother tongue teaching. He cited data from the West African Examinations Council, the National Examination Council, and the Joint Admissions and Matriculation Board. On that notice, I would like to go home this evening on this edition of King's Newsburn, a 45 minutes news presentation about Liberia, Africa, and the rest of the world. But just before we go home, let's remind you of stories we've been following. Finance and Development Planning Minister Augustine Gafon expresses confidence in the government's fiscal trajectory and reform agenda, emphasizing the need that the country is firmly on the course towards securing a second Madidian Challenge Cooperation Compact. The Economic Community of West African States Commission reaffirms its commitment to deepening regional integration and connectivity through a joint monitoring mission for the construction of the Kavala River Bridge. ECOWAS Director for Transport Chris Appiah says the bridge will reduce travel time, facilitate cross-border trade, and improve access to essential services. Justice Minister Oswald Tuwe assures government's unwavering commitment to prosecute both past and present officials implicated in corruption. And away from home, the Nigerian government has announced it is cancelling a controversial policy that mandated the use of additional languages for teaching in the earliest years of schooling instead of English. These are stories you follow here this evening on King's Newsroom. Sam Andrews was here with the news bulletin, while Marvin Vasada controls and coordinated the sounds. I would like to say many thanks to all of our reporters, correspondents, news editors who have been making this package. As always, my name is Newton Tokpa. Thanks for listening and watching. Good evening.